How you doing, Gemini? So, after I did my prayer, because I don't want to waste your time doing that on camera, this popped out, focusing on your energy. Now the devil could be dealing with a Capricorn or dealing with elements of addiction or control or desire, codependency, any kind of addictions that you may have. Let's see what we got out there for you, Gemini. First row is you, second the other person, third situation at hand, then fourth is the advice. Gemini. Wheel of Fortune. So, now the devil can be even like extreme desire, extreme want for something. You can have Capricorn within your chart, your sun, moon, and rising, or north node. Now there's a new cycle, a Wheel of Fortune, something brand new, something very auspicious. It's a turn of the wheel in your favor. But with every Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of the Year, you know, it talks about a beginning of a cycle, but cycles always have beginnings, middles, and ends, right? Now there's going to be a new cycle starting, something really auspicious. Three of Wands. You're hopeful. You're hopeful and waiting for something in particular. Waiting for your ships to come in. Three of Wands. So it's like you're expecting something. You know, you feel that there's a new cycle at hand, that there's something brand new coming. And maybe you have some fears about it, some worries, or maybe there's some kind of desires with this, possibly even kind of, it comes up with some energies within you. Maybe it brings up some toxic energies of obsession kind of things, or desire. There's a new beginning. Three of Wands. You're looking for expansion, possibly a move in your horizon, or a movement towards somewhere, which will lead you to a move towards somewhere, will lead you to emotional stability, emotional independence. You're looking to let go of any kind of codependencies, any kind of extreme desires, or any kind of possibly even rumination. If you ruminate a lot about things that you don't have, things that could happen, there will be a new cycle, maybe a fear or anxiety about something. This new cycle will lead to expansion and a movement forward, and it's leaving you for emotional stability. And this is something that's really important for you, Gemini. You're not willing to give away a bunch of cups, because it looks like you got out of something really toxic. And now you're not willing to put yourself back in there, you know. Now you want to be more back into a toxic situation. You want to be more discerning with whatever kind of offers that you put out. You know, I mean, yeah, you're thinking about it and, you know, you would like something new. This is a brand new cycle. You're looking for kind of an expansion and, you know, you definitely feel emotionally balanced and, you know, you're hopeful and you're looking to give out your offer, but you want to be discerning on who you're dealing with or who you're putting investment, a time and investment in, right? Now, I think you're in a good place. You know, this is a really balanced energy. This is really earthy feel to it, honestly. Because it feels really balanced. Now, whoever you're dealing with, Page of Cups, they can have Virgo or Pisces within their chart, but they're dealing with a lot of stuff, a lot of conflicts. Now, this person wants to give an offer, an emotional offer, maybe like a offer of friendship, getting to know you. Hi, how are you? A message about maybe some kind of like interest or now whoever's thinking about giving an offer to you, Gemini, they can have Virgo within their chart and they're on their own right now. They're solo. They're going within, and I feel like they're kind of like, they're going through a dark night of the soul, the hermit. You know, they're kind of spending time on their own. They're trying to find themselves, you know, reconnect with themselves and spirit, you know, trying to figure out things for themselves, things that, you know, maybe to reflect on things on their own, going out on a journey on their own. Because Five of Swords, they're taking time out on their own because right now they don't want to argue, they don't want to fight, you know, they want to win at all costs. Five of Swords. So they're on their own because whoever you're dealing with wants to win at all costs. And winning is more important than having people around them. Yeah, because when you have someone who's kind of argumentative, who always needs to feel to be right, or feels that possibly even if they have to defend themselves all the time, it's like, I don't really want to do it. Like, I'm going to win this argument by not arguing. You know, it's like kind of stonewalling other people. It's like I'm not listening kind of thing, you know, like I don't really care. I'm not even acknowledging this. Like, you don't really matter because like I could pick and choose who I want to deal with when I do, because this person might have spends a lot of time on their own and by themselves. And they could be really protective of their energy. Maybe they're quite stubborn as well. Someone who has a high investment in always being right, or feels some kind of shame whenever they feel like someone proved them wrong. Maybe there is like a shame aspect where when they were a child, like they were really shamed whenever they got anything wrong. So this person can be really kind of within their head a lot. They're thinking on their own a lot. Like they're very analytical and, you know, they weigh out their own odds and what they actually want to invest time in. And it's like, you know, I see someone who does protect their energy. Five of Swords, because, you know, they can be even kind of egotistical, you know, because it's someone who doesn't put a lot of investment into things, because, you know, it's like their number one is themselves and them protecting themselves. They can be quite defensive, and, you know, it's like Seven of Swords, like they don't invest a lot. They put themselves kind of first here. And Seven of Swords, these are people that kind of sneak out whenever they kind of feel like they got what they wanted or needed. It's like they're here, they're like, hey, I want to give you an offer. How are you? Let's get together. But then once you get together, like maybe they start acting cold and distant. And they act like they want to be alone. And then they start acting really defensive and really argumentative, and I just have to win. And it's like, well, if I can't win, then I'll just take my swords and go. And then, it leads to heartbreak. So you can be dealing with somebody who is kind of selfish, who kind of just takes what he wants and then doesn't invest a lot. It's the kind of person that can be kind of a user kind of energy and uses what he can and what he wants, and then he wants everyone to agree with him, and when everyone doesn't agree with him and then he doesn't address the issue, then he feels hurt and he feels betrayed, because he thinks that, oh, well, if I just kind of stonewall people, if I don't argue, if I don't bring it up, and whenever people act up, I just leave, it's like he breaks his own heart by not dealing with it, because it's like he wants someone to be complacent into this game of just kind of of someone chasing him or her, it's someone, this is like a cat and mouse kind of game, and this is someone that kind of tests your love by doing kind of gnarly stuff, like maybe flirting with other people around you, or just kind of devaluing you just to make you prove your love. And he will go off and maybe start fights or arguments, he or she, and then they'll run off, and then they'll feel hurt because you didn't run after them, like their ego would get blown because they expected you to act a certain way to their kind of BS. And it's like, you were dealing with this situation, you know that it was toxic, you felt it, and you wanted a new cycle, you wanted something new, and you were hopeful for something better, and you were making a move out of this situation because whoever you were dealing with was someone who's just high conflict, they never seem happy. They're very critical and judgy. They judge whatever you're doing, how you're doing it, why isn't it the way that it should be done. They just can't be okay with things. And now that you're kind of disassociating, you're kind of you're you're hopeful to something better because you found something better on the horizon. Maybe you have a new opportunity. Maybe you bought a new place, or you have a new job that ended up making you move places, or an end of a relationship that you moved to a new place. And it's this is a karmic situation that maybe you've dealt with for a really, really long time. And maybe you've tried to release this situation multiple times, but then it's this toxic karmic pull that kind of kept you back in. And you were almost kind of complacent within just sitting within this high conflict situation. But now you want a new cycle. There's a new cycle that's coming ahead, and I know that you've been feeling it because you already started to disconnect. And you already started to pull away. It's like somebody who's been devaluing you in a relationship, and suddenly when it was nice and sweet, suddenly they act all detached and then argumentative and critical. You could never do anything right. And you're like, well, if I can't do anything right, then it might as well just be okay on my own, because whenever I'm around you, I can never really do anything right anyway, right? So it's like you're trying to detach and you're being selfish with your energy, because you should, because it's like when you try to work with people or these persons or these people, it's like all they want to do is start conflict and they want to be the winner all of the time. Now, this left you in a place where you're a lot more discerning with your energy, because you knew you were caught up with a really highly problematic person, a high conflict person. This is, I see narc even here, and it's because they have this internal wound within them, you know, that they always feel that they will betray before they feel betrayed. This is a person who has a fear of abandonment, self-confidence issues, like they always feel like maybe even the victim, you know, like no matter what. So, or maybe this is just like an end of a relationship where it started off great, and then when things started going downhill, nobody was working together, nobody was communicating, and then things just started getting worse and worse and worse and spiraled out of control, and to the point where like you don't even really want to put energy or deal with it, because why? You know, Gemini's like, Gemini's is tough because, I mean, I have an Aquarius moon, so that air sign, it's like sometimes it takes you a while to figure out your emotions, you know, because sometimes we can be that kind of like, we listen to our analytical thoughts first. We're very logical first. Sometimes we suffer from that analysis paralysis and that rumination, and it takes us a while to figure out our own feelings. And when we rush into something, we feel like maybe it wasn't the best course because I rushed in so fast that I'm not even really sure of my emotions, you know. And air and fire is a lot like that, and I have both within, you know, and it can be really turbulent. Can be really turbulent. Now you can have Capricorn within your North Node, or your Ascendant, or even your Moon sign, your Moon or Rising sign, I mean. But this is you being a lot more careful of your energy now, because you felt like you just got out of a high conflict situation, and you felt like you were caught up with somebody who likes to gaslight you and play mind games, and, you know, who just likes to play with your emotions. And you're already up in your head all the time anyway, trying to figure things out, like how you feel. And that's why people think that you can be disingenuous, because your emotions can fluctuate so much, because it's like sometimes you tend to question yourself. You know, sometimes your mind is stating what's different than what your feelings are. It's, you know, your logic and your thoughts and your feelings. It's hard for you to decipher that sometimes, and it's not, and that's the thing that makes you flaky, you know, because it's just you're just trying to figure it out and process it. Because air signs, you're like machines, they're processing machines, and if you get rushed, you feel already like it's not a good investment already. And it seems like this person has like some control issues, because they have a need to always want to be right, and they nitpick. And if they have Virgo in their chart, and Pisces, like, you know, like they could nitpick it to the point where like they're trying to change you to be what they want you to be, and then they find out that you're not, because you never were. And instead of accepting you for the way that you are, they want to nitpick you for the things that you can't do. I don't know, but it's someone that's just really selfish, and it's someone who wants to win at all costs, who always feels a need to be right because there is an internal wound in them. And they will feel like it's a wound to their ego when they're not. And this makes them suffer, the relationships suffer because of that, possibly because of that toxic shame, because when a person feels that toxic shame, they actually put it out on other people, and other people start feeling that around them, like, I can't do anything right. Well, you know, because they can be nitpicky and, like, and they end up breaking their own heart and wondering why nobody wants to be around them, But the situation, it's like both people are trying to win. Nobody's communicating. It's like a one-upping all of the time. People feels attacked. Other people feels defensive. Other people feels resentful and angry. But they feel like they're being ganged up on. Maybe this is somebody with a lot of responsibilities, or a lot of people asking them for things, or expecting them to do things, or possibly they feel like they have a lot of people that they try to appease within their lives as well, that they try to stay on top of. These are people with like very scattered energy, who has like, oh, they know everybody, they have 1 billion friends, but then with a lot of billion friends, you got 1 billion new problems too, to be honest. And somebody's feeling overwhelmed. Somebody feels like, just trying to stay on top of, if it's not 1 billion friends, it could be 1 billion responsibilities too. And they're trying to stay on top of it all. And they're, it looks, and can be dealing with a Leo, or they have Leo within their chart. But it's like, maybe you feel like you have to defend yourself and you have to stay strong within this situation. Maybe this was like a really test of strength on both of you, like a strength of your own character and what you want, because this person, it's like they could never really let you win. So it's like you had to kind of put up your defenses, you had to fight for your own cause, and you had to show your strength and actually, start being really defensive. It's like you had to fight for your own rights, be strong and become defensive because you were wounded. Like, you let this person get away too much, like with what they wanted, or you ignored a lot of red flags possibly, or a lot of small like betrayals within your relationship, and maybe you didn't speak up enough, or maybe you did speak up and they weren't willing to listen, and that's what made you feel wounded. Like it's like, how many times can I say that, like, I don't like you, like starting fights right before I have to go to work, or I don't like you like starting arguments when we're out with friends, or or before a big event, so because you didn't want to go, or talking crap about you to situations, like this is like gaslighting and stuff. Like, possibly this could be even a family or work unit, or like but this people are just trying to like set other people up against you. And now it's like they're possibly talking behind your back, like setting up a whole petition against other people to be like, think of you a certain way. And it's like you had to defend yourself. You constantly feel like you have to defend yourself to stay on top of things, because you have all these people that's working totally against you. Like, these are saboteurs, I don't know if it's like, siblings or coworkers, or, a family unit, or You know, but these are people that are just not high vibe at all. They're really negative people, and they're wounded, and they have control issues. And now it's like you don't want to be controlled anymore, you know. And whenever you have a bunch of negative ass people, they put you in a negative space, and you don't want a part of that anymore. You want a brand new cycle. You want an end to this, you know, continuous hell. You know, maybe it's the kind of people that are just high conflict, and you have high conflict siblings and parents, and it's always just a cycle of hell. It's like whenever you release your boundaries, they come back up, and then it's just the same BS over and over again. And now it's like you're defensive because you're wounded. You had to show your strength, you know, and became a power struggle. But now it's like you're blocking people out. You're not even dealing with it. Before, you would like release those boundaries and thinking that, oh, well, maybe they learned their lesson. Maybe if I just set down boundaries, they'll understand. Maybe all because you figured out boundaries. It doesn't mean they will. You know, it doesn't mean all because you figured out how to make yourself healthier, it doesn't mean they will. You know, a lot of times they just try to step over your boundaries even more. Because they start feeling like, well, you're the jerk because now you're not giving in to the whole game anymore. And that's what makes them feel betrayed, because these people want to build a bunch of conflict, and now they feel stuck because you block them out. Now they can't project all of their emotions out on you, and you know, and now they have to deal with it themselves and actually have to take a look at it themselves and being like, oh, okay, well, now that I can't blame it on the scapegoat, or I can't blame that I'm unhappy on other people around me. Now I have to look at myself and be like, okay, those people aren't around me, but I'm still miserable. You know what I mean? Which is how these people are. Because you're not playing anymore, because you got wounded too many times, Gemini. And now you block them out, and like that's what makes them feel stuck. But now, initially, maybe you did have some toxic tendencies, toxic behaviors, possibly even dealing with people like this because they remind you of people at home. So when you have family members and parents like this, you meet partners like this, and you kind of play out the same dynamics unconsciously. And that's what I'm kind of seeing here, because you're attracting the kind of people that, and you're like, wow, soulmate, oh, he seems so familiar, bam. You know why? Because they're just like my parent, my mom, dad, or covert sister, or histrionic sister, or you know what I mean? Like it's, or borderline parent, and that's why you like are drawn to each other, because you know, high conflict people, they've had the same kind of parenting, but they turned in differently. Instead of turning all of that resentment from their upbringing on themselves like you do, you bring it onto yourself as a scapegoat. They bring it onto other people by projecting, and it's like you guys are playing like this cycle. And it's a dynamic that you've had since childhood. And you attract each other. Same wound, different outcome, different side of the coin. Wheel of Fortune, brand new cycle. It's like you're starting to see this. You want something better for yourself, healthier in your life. A brand new cycle of, you know, releasing the toxicity of things in your path. And, you know, this person, once you brought in a new cycle for yourself, this person had to go within. they really had to go within after this situation. Maybe because you didn't want to play with it anymore, and it ended up them being alone, and then they had to take a look at themselves. So after that cycle, the Hermit, a cycle ended, a new one began. Somebody was thinking about the situation, looked within, and found their strength. And the new cycle is not needing the toxic people or the toxic relationships anymore, releasing all of the toxic behaviors and habits. And that is actually bringing in the new cycle that you have. And it's mainly toxic relationships, that codependency, that could ruin a person's life. And now that you went on your own and you're starting to look within, that's what's making you find your inner strength. And it's the trials and tribulations that will bring you to find your inner strength within yourself. And you did that by looking within. And that's how you really find yourself, you know, like that, the saying that Carl Jung, you know, those that look on the outside, what was the saying? Those who looks on the outside dreams, but those who looks within awakens. And that's what it is. This new cycle brought a whole new awakening by looking within yourself and finding that inner strength. 3 of Wands, you have hopes, you have plans of expansion, of moving, and this person feels it. 5 of Swords, because your energy is shifting. You're moving away from this situation, away from the high conflict, and because you feel like whoever you're dealing with, like they just cut you too deep. Too many betrayals, you know, too many arguments, too many fights of non-compromise, of not wanting to listen. And you did have high hopes and looking outwards, and you know, like, you did have high hopes initially, but it's like with every conflict, it reminded you of what kind of person this was. High conflict, high issues, always the victim, always wanting to win, and you're like, no, I can't do it anymore. Like, you threw me off course way too many times. Now you're protective of your energy, and you should be. It's learning how to be protective of your energy. And because now this person feels like they're losing control, that they can't get what they want from you, now that they're picking up their swords and they're sneaking away, because it looks like they were controlling you for a while. They tried to for a while, and these mind games that they've been trying to pull, which was many, it looks like you fell for it for a while, but then now you're like, nope. Because this person did the disappearing act after they started some crap, expected you to chase them, and you're like, okay, go. Nope, I'm done. I'm not going to play with it anymore. Like, I'm done playing with you, because it takes 2 to tango, to be honest. There's no black and white or good and bad, because your involvement becomes the other half of the problem, but then you decided not to be that other half of the problem anymore. And you said, nope, I'm not dealing with this. You want to leave? Go ahead and leave, because you know what? I don't need this anymore. I got my own emotional abundance and stability, and you throw me off and I don't need it. You want to bounce, go. And then Page of Pentacles, now I'm being considerate on who I give my coin to. And now, because like this high conflict person you didn't chase, now they feel betrayed. And now this person feels stuck, because these mind games that this person was playing, it didn't bring them the result that they wanted. And now they feel stuck. because they were all had plans on you chasing after them again. I don't know. You could be dealing with a Pisces, with Pisces and Virgo in their chart. But this is a pretty much, I gotta say it, you're dealing with a narcissist, you know, and it's like your new cycle is that I'm not playing, I don't want to, no thank you. Like, you want to bring drama, you know, give the drama to your mama, because, you know, I ain't even it, you know, this person is hella immature. And this is all of this third row, if you see it, it's all just defensiveness, blocking, stuckness, oppression, because that's what having to deal with people who have this control issues, it makes you feel oppressed. It makes everyone around them feel oppressed in the misery, because, hey, you know what? If I'm miserable, I'm going to make everyone else miserable. It's like this enmeshment that nobody could feel happy if they're not happy, that nobody... You know what I mean? Like, because they have to bring their feelings and project it on other people and been like, okay, it's your fault I'm feeling this way, but it's not. It's not. Now, advice. Ace of Wands. King of Wands. No, that's way too much, I think. Yeah, way too much. Just two, Spirit. I just want two. Just two, Spirit. Just two. So, yep. Your advice: start a new passionate beginning, something that'll bring you fire into your soul. Burn away what's not working, burn it all away, and start to something brand new that'll actually breathe a fire into your own life and a movement forward, brand new, passion, happiness. Start something new. Six of Cups, maybe you started something brand new, maybe a new beginning with a soulmate, maybe somebody from your past or past life. But it looks like you have a hope to start something brand new with a soulmate that came into your life. Possibly with a King of Wands, or you have fire within your chart, or they do, and there's going to be a new passionate beginning with a soulmate, past life or this life. And Knight of Pentacles, go slow, be discerning. There will be movement forward, but you know, it might be kind of delayed, because whoever you're dealing with has earth and fire within their chart. So, you know, this is someone who definitely wants to be a little more careful, or maybe you want to be a little more careful. There is going to be movement, but there is a holding period, because maybe the person that you're dealing with, or even you're coming out of a huge betrayal, you know? Like, this person gave you a mind, you know, he jacked up your mind from all this mind control, and you have to get out of the pink cloud of gaslighting. And so there will be a new beginning with a past life soulmate, someone with fire in their chart, and someone who wants to get to know you and who does want to make movement towards you, but there will be a holding period. And go for that something new, something that brings passion into you, because it's something that, whatever you're dealing with now, you've been done for a really long time. And you kind of feel released. You know, it's like now I could just deal with myself and what I need to do instead of this high conflict person. Now, after all of this in the past, you did want to start something. And maybe it started off as a friendship or a conversation and you know, it was like a kind of like a, can be someone who can be kind of argumentative, and you know, you had high hopes about it and you were passionate about it. You had an interest. Maybe it started off with passion, you know, like attraction. And initially you thought it was a good cycle, and it was a good cycle initially, but the wheel of fortune, what comes up must eventually comes down. Every good point has their bad points. Every beginning has a middle and an end, and new beginnings. And it's like you knew that this cycle was coming. This person started to go within because then they started to feel you pull away. And somebody wanted to exert their control over you because they felt that you're definitely a soulmate to them. But then you're already out of this situation. You were already moving forward, and this person felt it, and they wanted to create conflict and fights and tell them it's you and you're the problem and that's not why we're working out. But it's like you could blame all you want for why things aren't working out, and you want to argue about the same thing. It doesn't change anything. It's just two people that's still resentful and miserable and defensive and not listening, and who feels like they have to protect themselves. Now, and it's like this person didn't really argue fair, that they could be mean, or they could hang up on you, or they could just ignore you when there's an issue. And, excuse me, you're through being defensive, like you got jacked over too many times, and something came about where you wanted to take your power back. Something gave you energy again. Maybe you met somebody new, or something came into your life, or that brought the passion back into your life, or you know, a new job or a new move that made you see a different perspective, and it kind of brought a little life into your step. And then that's when you started to hold back. And this person wasn't getting what they wanted, and they bounced. They blocked you out. And now you're looking to move forward to something new that excites you. But you're being careful, because this person around you is still lurking. Maybe because you actually got yourself a heart broken too, because this person jacked with you. You're still, both of you are heartbroken from the past, but you wanted to move forward to something new. But it feels like you're ruminating on the heartbreak, and you feel caught within it. Pull yourself out. 10 of Swords in reverse. Give yourself time to grieve. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to take this time out. But give yourself a time period. Give yourself like a month, a couple weeks, and you know, go ahead and have your cries, go ahead and reminisce, but after that time period comes up, pull yourself out of it and get your stuff back together, because you're going to be missing it. You're going to be missing the new cycle that comes along, and it's going to require a lot of energy, and it's going to require health to do so. And it's important to feel your feelings so you know, and you could reflect on what happened. How could I improve the next time and not get myself into this situation? And still, instead of being constantly second guessing yourself, and I think this is that it's the need to pull yourself out of confusion, because you're dealing with someone who is super critical, and it left you second guessing yourself a lot. And the more you're away from this person, the more you're going to start being sure of yourself again. Because it's this person trying to pretty much gaslight you. And you got to wait for that hypnotic control to be released. And that's what this kind of people does, you know? When they rush in and out like this and play all these games, they do that so it leaves you second guessing yourself that if you were the problem or not, that this will be released. And the longer you're away from this, the longer you'll understand that it's their issues. And it's their influence that made you accept all of the responsibilities here. You know? Go towards your new passion, somebody that you have interest in, somebody that you feel it's a new life path for you, but definitely take the time to heal before you do that, because you don't want to jump out of one situation into the next without the proper processing, grieving, and healing, right? Because it'll just be one mess into the other. Bottom of the deck, what's unknown is the Hierophant, because the next time the person that is coming up is going to be significant. Possibly even a significant relationship, like a marriage or some kind of contractual agreement, or like someone, you know. But this is helping you find your own spirituality. This is helping you find yourself and your connection to God. This could be dealing with a Taurus, can be a new relationship. This is structures. This is being learned, not only spiritually learned, but rituals and structurally learned history. And you know, this is very studious. Within the spiritual and the tangible. And I think this will lead to a really great union or beginning to a really big corporation or a business or a job or a structure that will be beneficial for the rest of your life. But that's what I have for you, Gemini. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and donation box below if you feel moved to do so. Thanks, bye.